A license will be revoked if a driver A. refuses to submit to a chemical test. B. drives 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. C. honks their horn in a residential area after midnight. D. does not turn off their high beam lights around another vehicle. A. refuses to submit to a chemical test. By operating a vehicle on West Virginia roadways, a driver automatically consents to taking a breathalyzer test determining their blood alcohol concentration, BAC, when requested by an officer. If a driver refuses the test, their license will be suspended for a minimum of 1 year. A diamond-shaped sign. A. warns of existing or possible hazards. B. alerts drivers to school zones. C. alerts drivers to public recreation areas. D. alerts drivers to upcoming food and gas locations. A. warns of existing or possible hazards. Diamond-shaped signs warn drivers of existing or potential driving hazards. You will usually see these signs in yellow or orange. Increasing your vehicle's speed. A. increases your field of vision. B. decreases your field of vision. C. makes it easier to see cross traffic. D. has no effect on your field of vision. B. decreases your field of vision. The faster you drive, the smaller your field of vision becomes. As your speed increases and your field of vision decreases, you must be extra alert to potential hazards. When a traffic signal light turns green, you should A. yield the right-of-way to pedestrians. B. accelerate as quickly as possible. C. back up slowly. D. not move until another driver waves you on. A. yield the right-of-way to pedestrians. A green light tells you that you can go through the intersection. However, you must first yield the right-of-way to traffic and pedestrians who are still in the intersection.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
Distracted driving may be caused by A. eating, drinking, or smoking. B. talking or texting on a cellular phone. C. changing a radio station or CD. D. all of the above. D. all of the above. It is estimated that drivers make 200 decisions for every mile traveled, making it vital that drivers focus their full attention on the task of driving. Performing any additional task can create a dangerous distraction. A fully loaded tractor-trailer traveling at 55 miles per hour could take up to fill in the blank to come to a complete stop. A. 50 feet. B. 125 feet. C. 400 feet. D. 750 feet. C. 400 feet. Tractor-trailers take longer distances to stop than smaller cars traveling at the same speed. A fully loaded tractor-trailer may take almost 400 feet to come to a complete stop when driving at 55 miles per hour. What do speed limit signs indicate? A. potential driving speeds for the area. B. the maximum or minimum speed that is legally allowed to be driven. C. the speed drivers should drive in heavy traffic. D. the speed drivers should drive under poor conditions. B. the maximum or minimum speed that is legally allowed to be driven. Speed limit signs indicate the maximum or minimum safe speed that is allowed to be driven on a roadway. The maximum limits are for ideal conditions and you must reduce your speed when conditions require it. If a transit vehicle is signaling to re-enter the main roadway following a stop, you must A. Honk to let them know you're there. B. Move to the left lane. C. Yield. D. Speed up to pass. C. Yield. You must yield to any transit vehicle that is signaling to pull back onto the main roadway after it has stopped to load or unload passengers. Change lanes, slow down, or stop to allow the bus safe re-entry into traffic. If you experience a tire blowout, A. Take your foot off the gas. B. Do not immediately use your brakes. C. Gradually slow down and pull off the side of the road. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. If you experience a tire blowout, take your foot off the gas pedal and do not immediately apply the brakes. Gradually slow down before gently applying the brakes and pulling off the side of the road. This road sign means A. Road construction ahead. B. The road ahead curves left, then right. C. The road ahead curves right, then left. D. Steep grade ahead. C. The road ahead curves right, then left. This sign indicates that the road ahead curves to the right and then to the left. You should slow down to be able to negotiate these curves safely. When changing lanes, you can check your blind spots by A. Using the inside rearview mirror. B. Using the outside rearview mirror. C. Using both inside and outside rearview mirrors. D. Turning your head and looking over your shoulder. D. Turning your head and looking over your shoulder. You should turn your head to check your blind spots before every lane change. This sign is a warning that you are approaching A. An intersection. B. A crosswalk. C. A railroad crossing. D. A blasting zone. C. A railroad crossing. This sign indicates that you are approaching a railroad crossing. If two drivers arrive at the same time to a four-way intersection controlled by stop signs. A. The driver on the right has the right-of-way. B. The driver on the left has the right-of-way. C. One driver may continue driving without stopping. D. One driver should honk to indicate that they are giving up the right-of-way. A. The driver on the right has the right-of-way. Yield the right-of-way to the driver on your right at a four-way intersection if you both arrive to the intersection at the same time. You may then proceed when it is safe to do so. Many crashes are caused by A. Drivers traveling too fast for conditions. B. Drivers consistently checking their mirrors and blind spots. C. Drivers yielding the right-of-way. D. Drivers maintaining a 4-second following distance. A. Drivers traveling too fast for conditions. Many crashes are caused by drivers who are driving too fast for conditions. Always drive within the legal speed limits and decrease your speed anytime conditions are less than perfect. You cannot pass safely on a two-way, two-lane street unless A. You are able to clearly see the road ahead. B. You can return to your lane before meeting oncoming traffic. C. Your vehicle is capable of the speed necessary to pass. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. You cannot pass safely when driving on a two-way, two-lane street unless you can clearly see the road ahead. You can return to your lane before meeting oncoming traffic, and your vehicle is capable of the speed necessary to pass. Do not pass where it is illegal and unsafe to do so. It is illegal for a person 21 years of age or older to drive with a minimum blood alcohol concentration, BAC, of A. 0.05%, B. 0.08%, C. 0.02%, D. 0.1%, B. 0.08%. For drivers age 21 or older, it is illegal to operate a motor vehicle with a blood alcohol concentration, BAC, of 0.08% or higher. Driving while under the influence of alcohol is not only illegal, but dangerous. A leaky exhaust system in your vehicle is dangerous because it can cause A. A loss of hearing. B. Pollution. C. Carbon monoxide poisoning. D. Poor engine performance. C. Carbon monoxide poisoning. The exhaust system carries exhaust gas out of the vehicle and prevents fumes from entering into the passenger compartment. To prevent carbon monoxide poisoning, keep your exhaust system free of leaks. Replace all defective parts immediately. The road is the most dangerous? A. After it rains. B. After it has been raining for a couple of hours. C. When it begins to rain. D. Before it rains. C. When it begins to rain. Wet roads are always dangerous, but they are particularly dangerous at the start of a light rain. When it just begins to rain, the rainwater mixes with oil and dirt that has not yet washed away from the surface of the road and creates a slippery film. Which of the following statements is true? A. Signal at least 100 feet before changing lanes to pass and ensure there is no oncoming traffic. B. Use your mirrors and look over your left shoulder to check your blind spot when passing to the left. C. When passing, wait until you can see both headlights of the passed car in your rearview mirror before returning to your original lane. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. When passing, you must always signal at least 100 feet in advance of your lane change. Always check behind you in your mirrors and look over your shoulder to check your blind spot. Wait until you can see both headlights of the passed car in your rearview mirror before returning to your original lane. If your car breaks down on a highway, you should A. Sit in your car and wait for help. B. Use your four-way flashers to warn other drivers. C. Sound your horn at passing motorists. D. Flash your headlights at oncoming traffic. B. Use your four-way flashers to warn other drivers. If your vehicle breaks down on the highway, you should signal before carefully exiting the roadway and turning on your hazard flashers. Get as far off the road as possible and park in a location where other drivers can easily see you. Lift your hood to let other drivers know your vehicle is disabled. Two solid white lines painted across a traffic lane show the boundaries of a crosswalk. As a driver, you should know that A. Motor vehicles have the right of way over pedestrians in crosswalks. B. When pedestrians are in crosswalks, they should be given the right of way. C. No one has the right of way in a crosswalk. D. Pedestrians are responsible to stay out of the way of all traffic. B. When pedestrians are in crosswalks, they should be given the right of way. Crosswalk lines show pedestrians where to safely cross a road or street. Crosswalks may be marked by horizontal lines, vertical lines, or a combination of the two. You must always stop for pedestrians who are in a crosswalk. When driving on slick roads, you should A. Take turns more slowly than usual. B. Change lanes quickly. C. Accelerate quickly. D. Brake hard. A. Take turns more slowly than usual. While it is always dangerous to drive too fast on slippery roads, this is especially true when driving in turns and curves. Be sure to approach them more slowly in slippery conditions than you would under normal circumstances. A good defensive driver. A. Drives slowly at all times. B. Looks out for the actions of other drivers. C. Travels at a constant speed. D. Only drives in familiar areas. B. Looks out for the actions of other drivers. Even the most experienced drivers can be distracted while driving. A defensive driver looks out for the actions of other drivers and anticipates potential problems. When driving, you are required to carry A. Only your license. B. Only proof of insurance. C. Only your license and registration. D. Your license, proof of insurance, and current registration card. D. Your license, proof of insurance, and current registration card. You must always have your driver's license with you when operating a motor vehicle. In addition to your license, be sure to have valid proof of insurance and your current registration card in the vehicle. You will be required to produce all three documents if you are stopped by law enforcement for a moving traffic violation. If someone has consumed alcoholic drinks, what will help the person overcome the influence of those drinks? A. Tomato juice and lime. B. Hot coffee. C. Fresh air. D. Only time. D. Only time. Only the passage of time will allow a person to overcome the influence of alcohol.